Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're in the studio, so you know what to do by now. Come on, get involved in the chat and the comments because we are live. We'll be talking about the fixtures. Testers are out, the fixtures are out, so we're going to be getting into that, looking at when United have got who and when we're going to start panicking, as we invariably do each season. Some interesting times for certain games. We'll get into all that. We'll also be looking at the latest transfer rumours. It looks like, as you can see from the thumbnail there, that we might have to go toe-to-toe with the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea over a couple of our targets. Not really surprised, that, is it? Because, good players attract good teams or big teams. So doesn't exactly shock me that we're in for a few players that other clubs are in for as well. So we'll be getting into all that as well. Make sure you are hitting that like button. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you're doing as well. Great to see James Wood in the chat already. He says, morning, Jay, up the paddock. Scott Hughes says, morning, Jay. Ollie Aston says, morning, Jay. Evan Kelly says, why, TF, have United not signed anyone yet? Reports City are in for Cucurella. The Imston Strangler says, good morning, Jay. Give us a shout out. I know you love my name, up the paddock. Right, should we get into this one first? And I thought we were done with this guy in terms of stories and news and reports and time and energy and debates. Mr. Paul Labille Pogba. Yep. He's done an interview. I think, this is part of his documentary, I think, innit? That's out. Is it tonight or is out? Yeah, is it tomorrow night? Sorry. And he talks about his time at Manchester United, obviously, and he's a little bit miffed at the way he was treated. Fabrizio Romano's tweeted an extract of it, and this has come from The Athletic. I think there's a bit in The Athletic about it. And he says he wants to... my thought process, is to show Manchester United... This is Pogba, sorry. My thought process is to show Manchester United that they made a mistake in waiting to give me a contract. Yes, this is part of the documentary he's done. How can you tell a player you absolutely want him and offer him nothing? I've never seen that. Now, when we say offer him nothing, apparently there was a contract on the table, which was worth more than his existing 290k a week contract. So I'm not sure where the nothing comes from. I think there was a bit of an issue in terms of when that was offered and the sort of the promises or the assurances he was made. But it does seem like it's just, another sort of episode in the Paul Pogba at United saga. It didn't end well, did it? It didn't, it started okay, and then it went south. And there's always been this issue with Pogba and whether he was back properly at United, whether he was happy at United. His agent was always saying things. He said a few things when he was away on international duty. There was one time in the summer where he said he wanted to leave, he wanted a new challenge. Let's not forget, when he went to Juventus after he first left United, there was a couple of times he spoke out then where he wasn't happy. I remember him saying about the fact that when Fergie played, there was one game against Blackburn, Fergie played Rafael da Silva and Phil Jones or something in midfield, and Pogba said that was when he decided he wanted to leave because he hadn't been given a chance or whatever. So there's always been this sort of thing. Now he's doing this documentary, and he said a couple of other things as well. I get it. I get he might be a little bit upset, but then you think, well, the thing with Pogba is, no matter what you say, whether you sort of say, oh, he was a great player, or you say, oh, it wasn't good enough, people always sort of get upset because he's got a sort of section of the fan base that backs him, and another section of the fan base, probably a bigger section now, that just think he wasn't good enough. And I think somewhere in between is probably fair. I think he was injured far too often, not necessarily his fault, but he missed more than a quarter of the games through injury, injured at important times of the season as well when we really needed him. I think, yes, we could have had better players around him. There was a time when you looked around and you thought, okay, he's probably the one standout player, and we were struggling a little bit. But there's other times where he just didn't step up. And for me, I've always said this about Paul Pogba, a player the calibre of Paul Pogba, who's so talented, I wanted to see him more in the bigger games. Those are the games I wanted to see him in. And I felt too often in the bigger games he just didn't turn up. And yes, there was a game at the Etihad where we did very well, and we got a couple of goals, and we came back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. There was Stockholm, the Europa League final, played well again there, got a goal. But then you look at the Europa League final against Villarreal, I thought he was terrible. You can argue some of his teammates were, but, again, if Pogba's a talented player, you think that's a game that he could shine in. The 2018 FA Cup final didn't really do anything. There was too many of them games and games of injuries. And I just think that, it's probably for the best he moves on. He's a very talented young lad. He's going to Juventus. No doubt he'll do well there. But it just didn't work out, did it? And we saw the scenes after the Norwich game when fans were booing him. I don't agree with that, giving him grief. I thought that was a bit counterproductive. But there was always this element of Paul Pogba that he was never fully, like, it's not like he was a United fan. They tried to tell me that, didn't he, when he came back? Oh, he returned into his boyhood club and all that. He wasn't. He was, he was, there's nothing wrong with not being a United fan, by the way, if you're a footballer. But this nonsense about, he's coming here because he loves the club and all that, I think if he'd have got the offer to go somewhere else for the same amount of money, or if someone else had have offered Juve more than 89 million quid, he probably would have ended up there. But, it is what it is. It didn't work out. And I think, the document's out tomorrow. It's up to you if you watch it. I don't know if I can bother, to be honest with you. I think we all just want to move on. Someone's saying it's got who's saying why talk about him. Eddie A says, any De Jong news? The news on De Jong, I'll just mention this briefly before I move on, is that it's sort of reached a little bit of an impasse. We know that United wanted him. We know that we made this bid. I think it was around, was it 50 million quid with 20 million add-ons or whatever it is. That's not been accepted. Now the question is, do Barcelona accept it? Do they go, okay, you know what, we'll have it? Do United come back with a bigger bid, or do United walk away? We'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. It could go either way, that, to be honest with you. But United need to start looking at other alternatives if we're not going to get De Jong. What we don't want is to be a situation where we're dragging our heels, other good players are getting bought up, and we're left without any of our targets whatsoever. Hit that like button if you're watching. Give us a like. Daniel Monk says, Barca meeting this evening will decide the De Jong situation. Yeah, Joe was talking about this last night. They're having a bit of a meeting, aren't they, to decide how much money they've got, and that could help decide whether they're going to sell Frankie De Jong to us or not, or are they going to keep him? We'll have to wait and see. Right. Trevor Mando says, any news about Vitinha? The lad is sensational. Yes, we do have some news about him, and it looks like we could be in for a bit of a transfer battle for this kid, because United want him. We know this. We've been in for him. Well, let's get one thing straight. The reports in Portugal are that United are interested in him. United want him. There's some conflicting reports as to whether it's United that have actually made a bid. I think it was the Porto president or something said that they'd had a bid for him, but it didn't meet the buyout clause. I think the buyout clause is around £35 million. So some people were speculating that bid came from Manchester United because we'd been linked with him. So it's not set in stone that it is us, but there's a chance it is. Now, the sort of the twist to this is that now Arsenal apparently are in for him as well. There's a report, I think there's in the Express, and there's a couple of other papers as well, and it says Manchester United and Arsenal are both reportedly ready to trigger the release clause of Porto midfielder Vitinha, who played for Wolves during the 2021 season. He has had a great season this season, basically, last season. 22-year-old made huge strides in Portugal. Yeah, Porto won the league. I think they lost one game all season in the league. They also, I think they did the double as well. They won the cup. He played very well, did very well for him. 22 years old, obviously quite young. He was at Wolves a couple of seasons ago. Didn't really happen for him there. I think he played 19 games, lost 10 of them. A lot of those games that he played in, though, were cameos. I was just looking at transfer marks because I didn't remember much about him. And it was like 18 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here. So you can't be too judgmental about what went on there in terms of, his performances or him contributing to those defeats. Plus, he was only a young lad when he was in at Molineux, 20 years old or whatever, so you can't be too judgmental. So it looks like we may have to decide, or he may have to decide up between United and Arsenal. That's if United are going to trigger that release clause, and if United are going to act quickly, because they might leave it too late, or we might leave it too late, and Arsenal may get in there before us, or we may not even be that certain on him. I think when we were chatting last night, Joe was mentioning the fact that there could be a situation here with Vitinha is he's not our main target. Our main target is De Jong, but if we don't get De Jong, then this could be the kid we're looking at as an alternative, because they're similar-ish players, not identical, but maybe they fit that same sort of role. Who knows? Let's wait and see what happens. Hugh Grant, I don't know if it's the Hugh Grant from Notting Hill and 4 Weddings of a Funeral fame, says he's been a member of the Academy for 6 months, by the way. Thanks for your support. Says, I wish United would hurry up and get someone in. Everyone else is on the ball, but us again. This is part of the problem, isn't it? Because we've seen that, we see, City obviously got Haaland done because they worked on that transfer for a little while long before the window. Liverpool wanted Nunes when Benfica said we want €100 million. Liverpool just went, right, sound, we'll give you that, and did it quickly. United have gone into this with De Jong a little bit more tentatively, a little bit more let's try and sort of see if we can get that price down a bit, or see if we can, not pay exactly what Barcelona want, just to try and save a bit of money. We have a limited budget. We shouldn't have a budget as limited as we have. We should have more money to spend. He needs backing Erik ten Hag, and we know the owners take out enough money in dividends and these payments for loans and all the other stuff that they've done when they saddled us with all this debt. But this is where we're at. We've got a limited budget of around 120, 130 million. So we have to sort of make sure we can get players that we want without paying over the odds. With the De Jong situation, it's just frustrating because it does feel a little bit like it's dragging on now. You'd have hoped we'd have got this sorted. He's gone on his holiday, apparently, Frenkie de Jong, so he's not fussed. It's just a case of, are Barcelona going to say, yep, we'll have that, or are they going to say, no, if you want him, you're going to have to come in with a better bid. I think they want around, is it 70, 80 million for him? United want to pay around 50, 60 million maybe. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Hit that like button. Joseph Deek says, if you don't want to come, then I'd withdraw the bid. I think you're talking about De Jong there. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that, as I said. The other sort of transfer battle we could be in here is with Chelsea. Yeah, you can see it there about Chelsea trying to hijack moves now, which is not what you want to see, is it? You don't want to go toe-to-toe with Chelsea. It's weird with Chelsea because everyone thought, oh, well, this is it now. They're going to be skint because Abramovich is taking his money out or he's gone. They've got new owners, this American sort of conglomerate or whatever it is. But it looks like they've still got money to spend. And there's a story in the Mail, and it's been reported elsewhere as well, that Chelsea, to rival United in the race to sign Inter Milan star Denzel Dumfries, with Tuchel's side set to make a £21 million bid to bring him to Old Trafford. To bring him to Stamford Bridge, sorry. I mean, again, this is a good player who, is 26 years old. He's not a kid. He could come in. He could do a job for Manchester United. We know he needs strengthening in that area. The problem is what happens with, what happens when he's got a choice of go to Chelsea and he's got to go to United. Sometimes, if it is just the case of everything's the same, the wages are the same, the fees are the same, but one club's in the Champions League and one isn't, that can influence you. He might look at it and go, United are a bigger club. United are a bigger club than Chelsea. There's no disputing that. He might look at it and go, what, I play for United, a bigger club. He might look at it and go, what, I live in London. So there's all these little sort of caveats you just don't know about. We'll have to wait and see. I think this report has come from La Gazzetta dello Sport. So what they're saying is that what could help Chelsea is the fact that Inter Milan are interested in Romelu Lukaku. So that could be a little bit of a bonus for them and give them another advantage in that, whether they can sort of say to Inter Milan, okay, well, you want Lukaku, we want Dumfries, let's sort of do a little bit of a deal there, whatever. Richard H says, Jay putting in a shift again, should rename it the Motty in Manchester, up the Mott, man. Thank you, brother. Yeah, don't worry, you're going to get your fix with all the other presenters soon as well. They're all doing Sky. They're all outside Old Trafford chatting to Sky. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look at me, I'm on Sky. Pathetic. Yeah, but they'll be back later on. We've also got McCall's going to be doing something on Paul Pogba. I forgot to mention this. He's looking at Paul Pogba. We're going to have that video up later on this week. We've got a Sam Pilger interview. Sam Pilger's a great United journalist and reporter, and writer as well. He's written several books on United. He's done reporting as well. He's done reporting for everyone, for Forbes and other publications as well. So he sat down with Ange and Kirsty for the Paddock chat. Some really good stuff there as well. So that'll be out. So we've got loads of good stuff coming up. So don't worry if you're fed up with just seeing my grid on your screen every morning. Should we talk about fixtures? Is that next on my list? Yep, there you go. There's some mouth-watering clashes, isn't there? Eh? Nothing floats your boat quite like a season opener against Brighton and Hove Albion. Saying that, it was a 4-goal thriller last time we played them, wasn't it? Yeah. You can see the big games there, the ones that are most important. Liverpool in the third match. That's not what you want, is it? Hey, your third game in, and you've got the Scousers. All right, admittedly it's at home, so there's a slight relief. Could have been Anfield. But it's not going to be easy for old Erik ten Hag, is it? Especially if we don't back him with any transfers. Hey? Liverpool are going to be showing off Darwin Núñez and the almost quadruple trophy, and we'll be there with no one at the minute. We've also got Leeds at September the 17th. It's a shame we've not got Leeds earlier out, isn't it? Because Leeds usually just roll over and die for us and give us like loads of goals and points. Then we've got City away on October the 1st, as you can see. Chelsea away, October the 22nd. City at home on my birthday. So there's going to be a birthday treat when we batter them at Old Trafford to go 12 points clear on the route, on way to title number 21. Yeah, so there you got no excuse for forgetting my birthday. It's the same day as the City game. Leeds away on February 11th and Liverpool away on March the 4th. So, I mean, it doesn't mean a lot, does it, really? To be honest with you, you've got to play all these teams. The only sort of one you go is a bit grim is the fact you've got Liverpool early doors. You'd have wanted them probably a little bit further down the line. Because if you lose that game and you lose that game badly, listen, I know me and you are quite patient, sort of, serene, well-balanced people. But there are some out there that will lose their minds if we get beat off Liverpool and start firing shots at the manager already. 3 games in. It can happen. You think it won't. Everyone will give Eric Ten Hag time. They won't. We will, but not everyone will. So that's not, that's probably not an ideal scenario for him because he might have some people going, if we get hammered off Liverpool, going, oh, well, nothing's changed since he's a fraud. But I think we need to be patient with Eric Ten Hag. He needs a bit of patience. And he also needs some transfers. So United needs to get the finger out and start sorting out. James Wood says, 21 is coming. Jay, sound like McCullough. I don't think I was saying that this season. I've said it a couple of times, like, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I'm scared to even say it jokingly now. You end up getting clips up. Ricky says, cheers, Jay. Eddie A says, Leeds are awful. We'll win 4-0. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Leeds are awful, aren't they? It's one of those things. Leeds was like the one bright spot last season was battering Leeds, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Even away when it was quite funny because they got back into the game and then we still ended up winning. Old Trafford made me laugh as well when they got that equaliser and then they were all like, cheers, so in like 30 seconds we got another goal to go ahead and then we ended up battering them. Yeah, but it's not Leeds that I'm worried about, obviously. It's the other ones we've got to look at as well. I mean, to be honest with you, we probably should have put on that list the likes of Villa and Wolves and Spurs. That's us, innit? That's who we're going to be looking at in that sort of battle for top 4. We'll have to wait and see anyway what happens with those ones. We know when the fixtures are out. We just don't know who's going to be playing for Manchester United because we don't know which transfer is going to be made yet. But when we find out, when we hear any news, when we get any updates, we will go live straight away. We will keep you posted. Don't worry about that. If anything breaks, we'll be live straight away to give you all the latest news, what's happening with Manchester United transfers, whether that's Frankie de Jong, Denzel Dumfries, or the kid Vitinha. Anyone else, we'll always let you know. I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. We want to get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Can we put a link in the chat, just a quick subscribe link if there's not one already? We'll throw a link in the chat there so you can see the link to subscribe. Make sure you're hitting subscribe. Don't forget as well, like I said to you earlier, we've got all these videos coming up. We've got an interview with Sam Pilger coming up. We've got Adam McCall looking at Paul Pogba. We've got there's also loads of tactical videos that are already up on the channel as well. We've been looking at Frankie de Jong, if he does come, where he's going to fit in. We've also looked at Eric Ten Hag and how he did at Ajax and how he's going to do. Could he do the same thing at Manchester United as well? So we've got you covered on all sorts of different videos. And don't forget as well, if you hear anything, if you're a bit ITK, then give us a shout as well. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe link. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk from the studio. Thanks for watching.